Mobile.
Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadanandatirtha Bhagavadpadacharyoभ्यो Namo Namaः Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolayan Niyadiprataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Surasaukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madiprabhudan Vadanarasya Kritavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्वदावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Welcome friends once again to the resumption of Kathopanishad. We have in between a sort of hiatus because we couldn't continue our journey for the last 3 weeks. So it sort of a determination somehow we will have to continue this journey which has been so sort of a enticing as well as they taking us to the highest level. We should not be discontinuing this. So we have tried to do as much as possible. Last week I couldn't, because I had to be away for an appointment. Anyway, I have made it a point this week. We should resume our journey once again. Welcome, Prabhuda. Is it audible? Okay, Ketan. So we wanted to resume that, and we will be doing that. So this is the third important, because finally we are away only from another 6 mantras, which we will have to go through, before concluding this Kathopanishad. But these 6 mantras, not only that, what we have undergone so far, they are all going to culminate into what is the takeaway for us. That's why I'm very sort of I have determined at least the next 5 to 6 weeks, somehow, we will go through this, because finally we will be taking the essence of the Kathopanishad. While the entire, because all the 6 vallis, we have gone through, this is the 6th valli, 3rd valli of the 2nd Adhyaya, because we have already gone through the first 3 vallis of the first Adhyaya. In fact, one of the peculiar aspects of the Kathopanishad is after the completion of the first Adhyaya itself, it has given a Palashruti. It has given what is the advantages you will be getting it. Once you recite this Kathopanishad in all important occasions, whenever you have any auspicious occasion in your house, or when you are remembering your forefathers, or any shraddha, when you do that, because then you get into the immortality, because that's what it says. It is not that by reciting that, because by reciting and you will also be propagating into others, and then you will find, because unless you are able to convince yourself, you will not be able to propagate to others, you will not be able to recite it to others if you are not convinced. Because that is the idea earlier, because once you have learned something, you try to live by that, as well as you internalize that, and you are convinced, then you are trying to get it to others. This is how, because Paravanchikani Vyataranat, because when the mantra, the first mantra of the 4th valli of the 2nd Adhyaya, when he said, because basically, all we think, all we are convinced, because they are trying to, we only see the outside, and they are trying to see, because whether that is good for us or not, because we try to find. If it is good for you, if you are able to live by that, if it is comforting you, you are trying to adopt that. If it is something alien to you, you will not be, because someone says something to be done, but you are not used to by practice, because you have been having a particular way of life, particular way of living in this world. But someone says to do something, unless you are convinced it is going to be good for you, you will not be doing that. But what is when we while trying to do something good for us, because very often, because we go by what we expect, what is the goodness which is going to happen to us. Already it is preconceived idea in the mind. Either, by our own experience to some extent, or by hearing from others, by seeing others, or telling someone, he has done that, because he got this and all. But we don't know exactly, because we think, everyone is in having a sort of a garden of roses, in their life. It's not. We never know, because there are some lot of the lot of they have gone through, the struggles and obstacles, which we have not seen, like the flower, when it is having a flower, it is also having a thorn. In fact, thorn is more important than the flower because it protects it from, all other, these, all other, creatures to pluck it out of. Because even if you want to pluck out a rose, unless you are careful enough, that you are avoid the thorn, then only you will be able to pluck it. So it basically prohibits you from plucking the rose because the thorn is there, it is protecting you. So when we say, because when we are trying to have a moral code of conduct, because when the Upanishad says or the Veda says, our own, not only our scriptures, all other scriptures are telling how we have to be a wonderful human being. How you can, because living this life, when we say all these things, it is trying to bring out, because warding off, because whenever we get something attracted to our own, convenience and comfort, we don't realize, because there are certain perversions, without our knowledge must have crept in our mind. Those perversions, we will not be able, we may not be knowing, because we thought, because that is good for us. And unless, by virtue of that perversion, you encounter some obstacle, then you will realize it is not good for us. Because as long as the comfort is there, we go with that. So when the human evolution, the purpose of the human evolution is to understand finally, the power which is guiding you and which power which is given to you to royally, lead the life in this world. Once you are trying to, how will you be able to understand? By understanding yourself. How will you be able to understand yourself? What are all, because you are able to experience the goodness and comfort in you. By goodness and comfort, how it comes initially, because when you are alone, when you are single or when you are a bachelor and all, you will think, whatever is available to you, for your comfort, because you are able to get anything, because that becomes, that sort of a comfort for us. Once you get a family or once you get friends, once you got a circle, around which, you are living, then you look for the comfort of all others around you. It gets dissipated. Your own selfishness get dissipated. You become some sort of a, when you are sharing, because your self comfort with others, then you become sharing your comfort as well as whatever is available to you. Sharing and caring become the highest, because once you do that, the happiness what you are getting out of that is much more than what you got for everything yourself as a single person. So as the it encompasses, that it increases, as it enhances the whole world, when you are able to live, because when you are able to live in harmony with everyone, when you are able to share and can, give, whatever is, when you are not able, when you are able to not to get something out of ordinary from others, and you are able to live with whatever comes in your way in the flow of things, as well, you are able to live, that is something great. You don't have to develop an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude will come automatically to you once you find happiness, when you find the comfort, that comes to you and as well as people around you or circle around you, because or the state around you or the entire community around you, that is the highest. This is what exactly Upanishad takes. But once you are doing that, what happens? Then you don't go and see for what is only good for you. You are trying to see the good for all others also. So when you are seeing even the objects, what you are trying to accumulate or what you are trying to utilize for your own benefit, or then you will also see, because if something is going to be harming that, you will try to give up. So likewise, because now we say, because, why should we eat, because ahimsa is something they said. Ahimsa is non-violence. Non-violence, it comes not only, other beings around us, even other creatures around us. Because it boils out, because that you try to be as good as, because meat eating, because and all is prohibited mainly because it brings in some element of violence. So once you get out of all those things, slowly, when you are able, the purpose of the life is to understand the highest power in you by understanding yourself by your own experience. And that is like a iterative, because once, get it is a lot of, we are growing every day, because what I have thought, because 50 years before, and the same thing if you ask me to do, because I will think, because I was sometimes when I used to get ashamed of, was I having this idea at that point of time, because that was the level of my intelligence at that time. That was the level of my wisdom at that time. Now the wisdom has come to me, because virtue of the experience I have gone through. Now I should retain that, and not only that, I should be able to reverberate, by my own actions. So others are able to absorb as well as I am also able to gain. It is always never a dialogue. When you tell someone, when you propagate someone, you are also learning. And the continuous learning is the part of life. As continuous learning happens, once you get, because what happens is, it's not always, because you are going by, whatever the thoughts tell you. You try to see how the discriminate, and as well as, whatever thoughts, because you to think, you are not able to decide whether good or bad, and you will just try to ignore it for the time being. Let me see how it goes. And over a period of time, you will find all of the things, once you submit yourselves, things will automatically come to you. So that happiness, is, as you accept the things, and once you try to live, because with what is the comfort zone, not only for you, for others, and once you see, when you are spreading, the comfort zone to other beings and other creatures and other sort of even inanities, which is around you, then, it becomes a sort of a way of life for you, because you don't have to seek happiness. Happiness comes automatically to you. Happiness is, contentment at any point of time. When you find that you don't lack anything and we have got everything available, what is required for you, what is needed for you, what is not that, because you don't have to look for what is not required. The problem is, when we are trying to look for what is not needed for us, what is not required for us, because, someone has said, or, the world is telling, because now world is having, because a different type of attitude, in the same Einsteinian world of time and space, we have also the Epsteinian world of moral decadence, and, because how the human beings can deteriorate themselves, because finally, they whatever evolve beings are there, they can get back to where they were, because even before evolution, because that is what is happening. So in these cases, once you are having a sort of a moving, and once you go with that, it is not that, because what is happening elsewhere and all, what is happening to you is very important. Once you confine yourself to what is happening to you, and when you are able to spread yourself across, and, because when you are able to get the contentment and happiness which automatically comes to you, you become a seeker of yourself, and through yourself, and you are seeking the highest power, the Lord in you. This is what exactly the answer for the third question. Yama is trying to bring out, various permutation and combination, and he has given us so many sort of verses, because some of them are repetitive. Repetitive is not only, because just to see for the purpose of it being repeated, it's being repeated in a context in which we will be able to understand much better. And once you understand that, it's a constant, because even if we know, because the fire is not good for me, at times, the exigency, what if, if I can just do it, because others are doing it and I don't have any time, I will have to do it. Then once you burnt, you just feel, yes, I should not have done it. That wisdom comes, once you are having as part of a indomitable spirit to follow what you believe, what you experience, and what you are going to do. And how it will come? When you expect, how you have to be treated, and when you offer the same treatment to others, when you know, because what is not good for you, what you have not felt comfortable, what has not been, sort of a good experience for you, you don't try to give others, others, you try to give what is good for you as you experience. That's all. That is the life. Once you have adopted that, because, that is exactly, because all the scriptures are telling, because that is whatever, you try to be treated particular way, you try to be behaving in a particular way, so you try to be, because to talk to in particular way, you try to do the same thing, because if you want, if you don't want to hear something, untoward, and so same thing, and you try to do that to us others also. This will come to some extent, that conscious attempt is required. Once you do it by practice, as Krishna says in Gita, by abhyasa, it will become automatically the second nature. So once you do it, you will not be always being, because dissipating yourself into what has happened and what is going to be happening, and you will be concentrating on the exactly what you are going to do and what you are now and what is in front of you. That's all. The power of now is very, very important than the power of what has happened and power of what is going to happen. That is what is called the mindfulness. Mindfulness at the moment, what is in front of us and what am I to have to do. and what is, because the expected of me, because not only female or any the job or the project or anything that is required, even in a simple thing in the house, if am I to do it, now I will have to keep my table in order. Let me concentrate on that. Let me not dissipate into all other things, because I will have to go to that place. Let me come and do later and all without procrastinating. What you think I have to do, you just focus on that. So then you will be able to get by practice, because it becomes an excellence. Once you become a way of doing is excellence in you, you will always be excelling in everything, whatever you are doing. And once you excel, the automatically things you deserve and you need will automatically come to you. This has been given to you because it is what, because all the seers have experienced, what all others have experienced. In this context only, we saw two mantras just for the purpose of recap, because we will only be reciting that. Indriyabhyo, because it is the 2.3.7 and 2.3.8 in the page 130 and 131 of the document what we have. So in that Indriyabhyo param manaha manasaha sattvam uttama. So the mind is always superior, because mind is always superior in the sense, it is able to get all other knowledge and all. So how the mind can be, because sort of given the strength it needs is, its energy should not be dissipated, because there are so many objects, you may be seeing everything, because you may be seeing a TV, there's so many ads will be there. You see a newspaper, so many things, so many items, of news will be there. But don't, because dissipate yourself and all, because there are also, some of them are news nowadays is not news, it's all opinions. It is all opinionated. What they think, they try to present it in the news. So is the ads. When it comes, don't go by all that, because that's why there is a very famous proverb in Tamil, Kadal ketpadum poi, Kannal parpadum poi, Thira Visaripade may, in the sense, try to find, because is it possible? Say, if I do something, will it be happy? Why, the newspapers are reporting someone has done, he has achieved this and all. Because I don't have to go by, because this sort of fancy stories and all. I will have to go by what I have undergone, what I know within the, because if I don't know, yes, I don't know. Let me accept my ignorance. It is always the way, world, I have to know till the last breath. That's what the God has sent to me here. The very purpose is, to understand the highest power in me by understanding myself through my own experience, as well as, because every day I am trying to find if there are sort of a some sort of a dead ends are there, I will have to remove that. Finally, I will have to accept whatever comes. I will not have to go out of the way for something. Let me go with the flow, and but let me give my best at every point of time what I am doing. That's all. Then automatically, that is the way they want to lead the life. You will be able to understand the power which is guiding you, which is keeping you, and which is also sort of propelling you in this world, which is you will be sort of taking care of you, even when you leave the world also, because you don't know what is going to happen of the world. We have not seen. We say there is a soul. Even if the soul is there, if the soul is immortal, we know that, because that's what the Upanishads have said and the masters have said, the realized masters have said. So if it is that, that will be taken care of. And then if I am have to again have to take a birth or come back to the world, and I will have to come, with the appropriate amount of experience, appropriate amount of, because the possibilities, then I will have to use it. As the mantra has said, previously, if you don't use this birth to understand yourself and do that, it is a catastrophe. You have wasted your life. As we have seen in Kathopanishad, idichet vedeti, amrtatvam udati. Idi na vedeti, that is, it is a catastrophe. That's what it is. So once we have understood that, this is what exactly the Indriyobhyo Paramanaha, how the mind will be able to get the strength. There are so many objects. Once you are dissipating yourself, the energy is being taken out. You become weak. You become, because sort of it takes away the energy from you. It takes away all your sort of initiative from you. But once you observe and leave at that, because if it is something good and if it is there, something like that, do it immediately. Don't think about it once you are convinced. But if you think, I don't know because others say and all, don't vacillate. If you don't go by others, you go by only your experience and you go only by your conviction. Once you are convinced, you have to do it. If you don't have a conviction, if you are still dilly-dallying, wobbling and all, don't go further. So once you have that, you will not be dissipating the energy. So once the energy center, is being kept in the mind instead of being dissipated into the objects. Indriyobhyo param manaha manasa sarvamuttamam. Sarvamuttamam in that is the highest, because it is finally the one, which is going to guide you and all. Because there are so many things available. When the mind is able to distill, because what it wants, it is able to filter and get what is best for it. Then Sattatvadadi Mahanatma. Because Mahat is the greatest. Mahanatma in the sense, finally, there are so much of knowledge and wisdom available, because by the virtue of the other experiences and what we have heard and whatever our own, because our elders must have undergone that. Our people whom we respect and the people who are our mentors, they have undergone that. From there, once you do that, once you are trying to reflect yourself, am I to go with this? Am I not to sort of go with this? Should I avoid doing it? Should I be doing it? And once you do that, finally the answer will come crystal clear to you. That is, the universal knowledge. That comes not in the form of, because any information or it comes as the intuition. It guides you to take the decision. When you think, you are not capable and when you can't do it, but by intuition, you think, I am capable, I can do that. There are certain things and I will have to do for that. You will work for that. Finally, you will get that. It is not impossible. Nothing is impossible once you're convinced by your own experiences and your own conviction, if you can go about. So in that process, because Satvadi Mahanatma, Mahato Avyaktam Uttamam, the unmanifest in the sense, because the universal knowledge, which is available, because with the all, the experiences of others and how I am able to get it by reflecting. By reflecting, because my own knowledge, gets every day, with added on. And not only that, my own reflection gives me the best. More I reflect, it's like churning out, like burning the gold, and to get the full purity out of that. Once I do that, my own intuition will guide me. You don't have to depend on that. Who is giving you the intuition? The finally the power in you. To understand that power in you by doing that, because constantly evolving. The third question finally attempts to make it, you almost give the divine qualities. You may not become a divine, but you will get the divine qualities. Once you get the divine qualities, after all, because nothing will matter to you, because everything will be acceptable to you, because you are not going to be going out of the way, because beyond what you are convinced or what you your conviction, will not take you out of your mooring, and you will go by your own experiences, and you will not be influenced by other things, that's being fancied about in this world. This is exactly the Avyaktat Param Purusha. Next mantra, Purusha Avyaktat Linge Evacha. Because without the once you have, all these the unmanifest and all those things, what we talk about, once because there is nothing, you will go only by your experiences and all, because the sensory information will always be used up, but the senses will not be totally be submitted to the ways of the world. Information has to come through your eyes, your ears, and you will have to read and you will have to write, you will have to talk, you will have to experience every day, you will have to interact. It comes in variety of forms. The variety of forms, when it comes, when you accumulate it and all that, you just take that, and because finally in the mind, gets filtered and it takes the energy center from the mind is finally taken to your intellect. So the intellect has got the discrimination is based on the conviction, you accumulated all through. The conviction point will change every day. What you are convinced of something, because 10 years earlier, now the same conviction may be indifferent, it is updated. It is not dormant, because every day it is getting updated. You know what is good for you. And because as we grow in our mental frame, as we grow in our age, we know what are our capabilities. Physically, my capabilities will be limited, but then mentally my capabilities will be as good as what I am having. So then you will go by what is possible. Physically, you will not try to attempt, which is impossible. The mentally, you will try to keep yourself, because balanced. The fine balance will be there. You will not be swayed, by people will be telling this, that, and all. Every day you will be bombarded, because why interactions in the houses and everywhere it takes place. Everyone wants you to feel what they feel in the same way as you do. But what they are feeling is based on their mental condition. If they are agitated, they also expect you to be agitated on some flimsy things. Is it that, because wise for me to do it? I will have to just understand, his mental condition. try to take it, because allow time and try to politely try to bring in, assuage his feelings and try to bring it about. That is the wisdom. So once you are doing that, you become an influencing factor in bringing about others also to find their own experiences, which finally guide them. This is how, because it is like a ripple effect. We are all in this world. We have come alone, but we are not living alone because we have got a chain, because we will have to interact with the world. We will have to interact with the other members of the family and circle. Then we will have to go about. So at the same time, we should not be swayed by the mental conditions of the others, as well as we should not be rigid enough to my own idiosyncrasies. Look, I don't know, I can't take, I can't take the food without that. What happens? Wherever you go, whatever they offer with love and affection, you try to, because reciprocate. Give, because whatever they are offering you, because they think, because what is possible for them, you try to take it. Don't have your own idiosyncrasies. And you should not be, because firm in your own views and all. You should keep it and it's open. You should be an open minded person, going with the flow and take the things as it comes. Then you will be the wonderful person and of yourself, in your own estimation. No one else has to estimate you. Because that is what you find yourself. That's what, because Yama says. Yama is the first person who has gone through this and finally attained the immortality, because he has gone through the whole cycle. He knows the human psychology. All our Upanishads and all our Vedas and all our scriptures are the highest possible psychological treatise. They understand our way, because when we think, when we know, because when we come into contact, with the scriptural knowledge, at that time also psychology knows, you will not be automatically be interested. It requires some effort. It requires some grace. Because why? Because if it is not going to work for me, getting my ice cream today, or if I am to go out and get something done, outside, why the scriptures are there? And the scriptures will be telling, something esoteric, because it's not possible. So it finally gives, because there a God, because the youngsters, you say, if there is a God, why God is allowing so many things to happen? God is not allowing so many things to happen. God has given the power, but He has also given the power to do the good as well as, the evil things. But if the power is used for doing the evil things, God can't help, because it is like the sun is shining everywhere and all, because it is not, created the desert, He has not created, and because it all happened, because in that area, the things have changed geologically, because people have done so many things, and the terrain is that, and because once you know the terrain, you try to adopt yourself to the terrain and live. The highest success rate for any human being is ability to adopt to the society or to the place where he is in. I can't have the same lifestyle, if I am going to live somewhere else and, because try to look for happiness and all. Because I will have to go by what is available, what is good, what I can do, what is possible for me, to be part of the whole society. The assimilation. Assimilation at the same time not doing, because not losing my own individual conviction. Has been beautifully brought out by Mahatma Gandhi, as he said, because there may be so many winds blowing through the windows of my house. But, because I am in my house, I know what it is and all, because I will just gather, how the wind comes in, because if I am able to get something out of that, I will get it. But I will not be, because I will be having, the big home is a place, where the heart is there. So you will go by, because what is there, at the same time, you will be open. Your windows will be open. You will be open to all ideas. Something good is there, you will be taking it. That is life. This is exactly has been brought up. Yam Nyatva Muchate Jantur Amrtatvam Gachati. Once he accept, once he understand, this is the life. You've got to be open-minded and you've got to be reflecting, your own experiences. Don't jump into something, by the words of others or by induced by others, and go by your own conviction and your own experience and your own reflection. And because by the experience turns out to be bad, learn from it. That is the experience. Experience is not what happens to us. What we learn from the experience is good. This is, as we roll. And finally, because this is how every day, we are trying to add a sort of a spectre of wisdom, in us. And this may need not necessarily be permanent, because the things change. Because now, because the digital world, the things are different. And doesn't mean, because my attitude will have to be different. My attitude is as good as what it should be, because I should still be able to do with an open mind, accept the things as it is, and should be able to get through this. So this is seven, and now, because we have come into the sort of a process of, the giving, how whatever we have learned, how whatever we have accumulated, how we will be able to realize, how we will be able to take the gist of it, the essence of it through our life. This is, something, because the next 3 mantras, are going to be talking about some sort of a yoga which we'll have to follow. Yoga is not done to something immediately, our mind goes, it is a separate activity. It has to be done, because under the guidance of certain things, it also has got some manipulation of the body, got a manipulation of the mind and all. It is all nothing to do with any of those things. What the Upanishad says is going to be basically, because when you are trying to have an open mind and have the experience and reflect yourself and get the best out of the world, what is happening is, because in that process, every day you will not be able to keep the same thing, because always, you will be pulsated, you will be pummeled by a lot of happenings around the world, around your family, around your, because circle, whatever may be happening. So one day you think, you are all fine, finely balanced. The next day, something will happen, because you will lose your shirt, because what is that? I want something, it's happening like that. What is that? In sometimes, it may go to some extent, is there a God? If there is a God, because let him be there wherever, because what does it mean to me? Because I'm not going to have anything out of that, because I have to go through this life and I will have to keep, all these things done. How am I to do this? Because that is what will always take away from us. But then, because you just see by your own experience, by own even, because even when it happens, just don't give any attention to that, because it is something, it is happening, because possibly it is a sort of, because a stepping stone for you to understand yourself more elegantly than what you have so far. You are far more elegant, you are far more, sort of refined than what you think you are, because when you're trying to interact with others and make a materially meaningful action, then, you lose your moorings and go. It's not that, you just go by that. Is it that? What is that? Because let me just, for the time being, because let me not do anything at all. Let me not, even think about it, give about it. And just, give the time, reflect yourself. You will get the right intuition. What you will be doing is the appropriate action at that point of time. If people are shouting, allow them to shout. People are talking, allow them to talk. People are doing things, which is not, because it's palatable to you, let them do it. But try to politely tell them, persuade them, do it and all. And you don't lose your mooring and all. You don't get into, because the mindset, in which, you are living, and you do that, because it will happen. Because of course, it's going to take time. It's not going to, because you will have to deal with the things. And if you want to practically deal with the things, because that is essential. And then what happens is, you will certainly find at the end of the day, you will come to the same point where others will also be able to see your point of view. And all of us will be collectively able to see which is common good for us. This is exactly, if it is the case, because there would not have been any war in the world. If it is going to be followed by every society, every being, because it is happening, because everyone is trying to see, what is going to be good for them as they think, but it need not necessarily be. Because that is what, we see in it. It's not that always, you are going to reach a destination. It's going to be a journey, not only now, even several millennia to come, it's going to be a journey. How am I to enjoy the journey? How am I to keep my raft aloft in the life, all through? That is what the purpose of that. So the next mantra, the 2.3.9, so it is giving, because some sort of a understanding of ourselves, how, our life could be made into yoga. So this is not exactly, because in terms of doing, something extraordinary, living ourselves in the way only, but it says the vision, what we have, is always based on our experience. The vision might always be clouded because, we may have, because some of our own sort of angularities, inbuilt, the perversion or the mind, which we are not aware. How to remove that? Because in yoga, there are Ashtanga yoga, we call it. It has got 8 steps: yama, niyama, asana, then, because that pranayama, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and then finally the dhyana, dharana, dhyana, and then finally samadhi, which is what the steps are there. It's not that, one has to follow linearly and then finally we'll have to attain that. All these things happen in the way of our thinking. Once you know, because what is good for you will have to be if something is good for me, same thing should be good for someone else. But if it is not good for me, something need not be good for others. So if I, but with that, once I understand and I do act, it will be that. That is yama and niyama. Pranayama, because why, it happens, because why our mood changes, why we get agitated, because if you observe, your breathing pattern changes. Once you get agitated, your breathing is so fast. It takes away, because even our life, because we have been assigned so many breaths in the life, you are exhausting so many breaths during, when you are agitated. But when you are calm and composed, when you are able to see, because you will be able to have a same. And it also has got the environment in which we live in. The people say, if you go at least 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers away from the city where people are living. I was attending one sort of a neurologist and neuroscientist, his lecture was there. He was telling, if you go from there, you will find, because their breathing is almost per second, it is not more than 6 or 7. For us, it will be 15, 20 and all, it could be there. And because why it is happening, and what is happening is there is a book called You Should Exhaust. The way to exhaust, exhaling has to be slow and steady. Inhaling, because it should be a normal as it is, and exhaling should be as, because when you get agitated, when you get something, and what is that, because the doctors say or anyone will say, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath when you say it. You just exhale. Exhale everything, because being set out and sent out, and because you come to a sort of, and you do 2 or 3 times, then you come to, if you are agitated, if you are angry, or if you have got something, because that has happened, which you think, should not have happened. In all these cases, exhaling is the elixir of exhaling. There is a book, I think, it has been written. So always try to be, because even when we do normal way of life, don't try to be, even if I have to go run fast, for something and all, let me take it as it is, because after all, by doing that, I'm not going to achieve anything. But then let me go with my own breathing, because this pranayama has got so much of effect on us. And we will also be discussing the importance of pranayama, which is going to be part of this Kathopanishad, because though it is not being emphasized explicitly in this part, because we'll have to learn that pranayama, at least, because what is it, and also each one of us can adopt in our own way. We don't have to be sort of, because there is no particular sequence and all, but there are a lot of pranayama masters are there, like yoga masters like BKS Iyengar. He has written a book only on pranayama. So how, because we are not the breath which is there right from our birth to now, what we call, because Vayu Jivottama, the one who has been, because guiding this entire body, because he is acting, at the behest of the Lord of the Lords, he has given him the power. When it is there, how he is doing 5 functions, we have seen prana, apana, dhyana, udana, samana, because and all those things. When you see all the 5 functions, when he is doing it, it is regulated, then automatically you will be disease free. And not only disease free, and mentally also, because you will not be agitated, because if your breathing is regulated, and understand consciously, because you are trying to spend some time, on your way of breathing, and try to find, because you are able to do it. And whenever you get agitated, try to do this deep breathing and exhale yourself slowly and steadily. You will find that is you will be able to get the balance back. You will not be doing something, out of a jiffy. You will not be sort of acting on sort of impulse. You will be a sort of a very, very sort of deliberate and known wise action you will be doing. If not, because you will not do anything. You will allow the things to cool down. Then you will do it. So likewise, it is going to give us, because a lot of further, because the advice to this. And finally, to understand this is, the idea is, the very purpose of is, because whatever, we call, because whatever, when we are going to live with the open mind, with the flow of life, we are not going to have some extraneous elements into this, because we are not going to be influenced by someone says something is happening, or because our own by sort of idiosyncrasies, because our own priorities, which we have misplaced, all those things we will correct it. Sometimes the priorities get misplaced, because after all, you are in the urgency to in your professional life to grow, or you are in urgency to your business life to expand, or in your normal life also, you want to find, safe and secure, with so much thing around. In that safety and security, you will be missing out so many things. So once you develop the contentment by constant reflection, as well as, because trying to excel on what is in front of you, not bothering about what is going to outcome. Because once you think about the outcome, your ability to excel will be lost. That's why karmanyeva adhikarastu has been said in. This is that don't expect in the sense, because then, the question will arise, I will go on doing like a donkey, if I don't get the result, what happens? It doesn't say that. You will be able to do much better and excel in everything you are doing once you don't bother about, what's going to happen. What is going to happen is not only what you expect, because there are so many conditions may change. The laws may change. The entire, the world will be different.